Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good evening, good all the things. How are you? I am Katie Brannon, and this is Tea Time True Crime with Katie. So, I don't have tea this time. I actually have coconut water. The best. Refreshing. But what is not the best and refreshing is the case that I'm going to talk about, because this is actually going to be a disappearance case. Now, before I go on, I want to talk about like how I got here, okay? Because how I research my cases. Hi, if it's your first time here, I'm Katie. Really awesome to meet you. No idea. Thank you for checking out my channel. If you guys like, subscribe, share, I really appreciate it. If you are wanting to know what my next video is, so definitely subscribe. Okay, that's, yeah. So how I got here, you guys, was I was doing my research for my next podcast, and then all of a sudden I'm looking at cases, and I have a few more I'm going to do, but this one, it was like a little snippet under like strange things and stuff like that, which if you haven't noticed, I'm fascinated by the paranormal and new age and spirituality and things like that. But don't worry, I'm all about the good vibes, okay? So when I saw this case and I heard this case, it hit me across my chest. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so weird. I have no idea. And when I went to go take a nap, I can't believe I'm telling you this, guys. So if you don't know, I am an empath. I don't like to use psychic medium because I feel we all have the gift. It just depends if you want to strengthen yours or not. And yes, some are more stronger than others. My gift is all about the vibes and the energies and what I'm feeling, total empath vibes. But it just went more hardcore. Now, it is 5 days before Halloween of me doing this podcast, so the veil is thin. Remember, October 31st, Halloween, is when the veil is the thinnest between the living and the not living, okay? So it is 5 days before, so maybe that's why my intuition and my abilities have like heightened extremely. So I was taking a nap, and in my nap, the girl who I saw in the special where I felt like, oh my gosh, about her, she was in my dream. She was like running after me. Like just full force, like I thought she was gonna smash into me. And by the time she smashed into me, I woke up. So I was feeling, okay, maybe I'm not gonna do this story. Like, she obviously does not want me to talk about her. So you guys, time passes, like a few hours, and I'm on TikTok live, doing something different, the NPC, like, ooh, roses, just for fun. My agency wanted me to do something like that, which is fine. And I also love going live to talk to you guys and hang out and have good vibes, sing, listen to music. It's a good time. Not always we talk about true crime on my lives. It's just like us hanging out as friends. It's a good time, so definitely check that out. Pale and Sweet, PALENSWEET. Add me on TikTok. But most of my videos are involving true crime. So, I'm in the middle of my live. And toward the end of my live, I'm like, listen, I gotta do a podcast, you guys. Something really weird happened today, and I don't know if I should do it. Then all of a sudden, this girl comes in my live and is like, I swear, she's psychic. And she was telling me these things like, oh no, she's not mad at you. She really wants you to tell her story. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what? So I wrote down what she said. So I'm going to read real quick what she said, and we're going to go on with the story, okay? This horrible disappearance. Now, She says, quiet through the halls. Now, these words, when I start talking about the story, are going to start making sense, and you might get like goose pimples, okay? Or goosebumps, whatever you want to call them. So, quiet through the halls, quote unquote. 3 men. Halfway blue walls and floors with silver rails. Quote, same footsteps in the sand, unquote. Feels more determined than scared, like when I see her being taken. And strangely, the number 17 came up in the reading. Now, this just all happened in the reading, and I was like, what? And, you know, the nice lady claims that she never even heard of this case, which is kind of unreal because when you when you type in these words, like this girl's name, my God, it was everywhere. It was on America's Most Wanted. Her family was on Dr. Phil. It was a nationwide case. And quite a few podcasters and YouTube covered this case. So again, I'm figuring, like, why does she want me to cover this case? You know? And then the really nice medium was like, well, I think because you do cases differently. Which, that's just wild. Okay, so that is how we got there. And beautiful soul, if you are listening, please, please know that you are loved. And your family really, really misses you. And we all want answers. And I'm scared we may never have answers. So I'm going to do my best to talk about Amy Lynn Bradley. Amy Lynn Bradley was born May 12th, 1974, which makes her a Taurus. Love my Taurus women, y'all. So she was actually from Chesterfield County, Virginia. She graduated from Longwood University with a physical education degree, which is, you know, PE. But she wanted to go back to school to get her master's for the psychology of sports. She had a basketball scholarship to enter college. And March 21st, 1998, she was boarded the ship with her brother and her mom and dad. So the backstory is this. This is a cruise ship disappearance. I know. Now I'm telling you, I've been on a few cruises and it's been a great experience. There are pros and cons. And if you stick with me at the end of this video, I will tell you some security measures, what you can do for you to feel safe. You know, this is 1998 when she disappeared. So that is 25 years, 7 months, and a day. Yeah. Almost a day. Yeah. So it's been long ago, but God knows what this woman went through. She was 23 years old when she went missing. So I'm talking about the Rhapsody of the Seas Royal Caribbean cruise ship. And this was a big cruise ship. Records say it was from like 2,500 to 3,000 people on the ship. It was like 11 stories high. It was a very, very big ship. So now I want you to let me know what you think happened at the end. Because I was frustrated about some of the theories, and I'm like, there's no flipping way. There's no way. So I'm going to get on with it. So back, you know, she's boarding the ship with her family. And the reason why she's going to that ship was her father won the cruise, you know, because of his work, because of his performance at his job. Now, it was just supposed to be him and his wife to go, but her brother, Brad, wanted to go. And before you know, come at the family, Bradley. Yes, that's the brother, because these are the Bradleys. Okay, we're done laughing about that? Great. Awesome. Let's move on. So Brad is Amy's sister, and they're extremely close. Really, really close. Not the creepy close, don't worry. But they really love and admire each other. and they watch out for each other, you know, like brother and sister do. Just a very close-knit family, and I think that's what makes this tragedy even more sad. All right, the ones who made it, we're here. Awesome. Okay, so what is odd about the whole thing is Amy didn't even want to go on the cruise. No, she was very reluctant about it. You know, like she had a feeling. I know, isn't that what? I know. She was actually trained lifeguard and was a really great swimmer, but she did not like the ocean. I mean, girl, same. Like, you don't know what the heck's there. I want to go into clear waters where I see where I'm walking. You know what I'm saying? I guess I'm bougie. Don't mind me. But she was not looking forward to being on a ship in the middle of the ocean for days at a time. But she was also very excited to be with her family and have vacation and just relax, eat, go to shows, and have a good time. And I wish that happened. But it did in the beginning. But then it went south. So the ship left from Puerto Rico March 23rd and, so March 21st, the ship left from Puerto Rico. Then the 23rd, ship docked to Aruba. The family stayed all day at the port. They had a really great time, and they're just like, you know, living their best life. I mean, if anyone has been on a cruise, let me know down in the comments below, and let me know what you think about it. Me and my partner, we absolutely love going on cruises. It's a really great time. Just have my Dramamine, make sure you eat kind of well, get some sleep, and, you know, just keep your immunity high. Because remember, you're going to be around thousands of people on a ship. I know that sounds scary. It's like, I don't know, my friend described it very well. It's like a giant casino in the water. Yeah, that's definitely how I would explain cruises. Definitely. So, you know, the family had a great time at Aruba. There's a beautiful picture of them. They just had a great time, you know? So 1 a.m., the ship disembarked for Curacao. Yes, it's an island and it was part of the cruise. Man, that word does not look like how it sounds. So the parents went to sleep, okay? Because the ship is already docked and it's on its way to Curacao. So, you know, the parents decided just to go to sleep early. But Brad and Amy, they didn't want to go to sleep. You know, you're on a cruise, you want to have fun, you get, I don't know, back in the 90s, you get drinks, free drinks, or the drink package. But, so they wanted to hang out. So they ended up going like clubbing. Sources say it was kind of like a disco night and stuff like that. But before all that, it was actually like dress up, like evening night. If you go on cruises, there's going to be a couple days where you dress nicely and they take your pictures and stuff. So that was one of the elegant nights, sadly, the night before she disappeared. So when that's happening, the family's having a big dinner and it's nice. They're all dressed up nice. Okay, so we're there. So they decide to go back to the room and change to go clubbing. Okay, there's some kind of disco night. Now, they hung out and danced with a band called the Blue Orchid. Now, Brad, you know, he went back to the room 4 a.m. So they were getting lit, you guys, like having a great time. Then Amy joined her brother 15 minutes later. Cool. All right. Now, Brad went to sleep and Amy was on the balcony. Now, she remained on the balcony. Now, don't be thinking what I think you're thinking, okay? The balcony had like a deck and chairs, and she honestly was just sitting outside on the deck. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that because it's beautiful when you're out there. I know my partner wakes up really early when we're on cruises and likes to sit on the balcony and stare at the sunrise. You know what I'm saying? It's very beautiful, especially on the water. So Brad's asleep and Amy's still on the balcony, okay? Now, an hour later, at 5 a.m., her father gets up as the ship would be docking soon. Her father's name is Ron. Now, he sees his daughter is still on the balcony, and she's actually asleep on the deck chair. She has a pack of cigarettes, like, right next to her. And the sliding door to the room to go to the balcony is closed, okay? So the dad decides to go back to sleep a little bit for just about 20 minutes, okay? Now, when he gets up, Amy's gone. She is nowhere to be seen. Now, he also noticed her cigarettes were gone as well. And the sliding door was open, but none of her shoes were missing. So what that means is when you're on the cruise, now they have signs. You got to wear shoes wherever you go. But back in the 90s, I'm thinking they were a little lax on that, So what that means is she her shoes weren't missing, means she wasn't wearing shoes. Okay, so no worries. Ron thought, well, probably my daughter is going to go to the vending machine and get something to drink, And, he didn't think anything of it, which, makes sense. She didn't even put on her shoes. So you're thinking that she may have, like I said, gone to the vending machine. I get it. Well, she didn't come back. And Ron decides to go upper deck and start searching upper deck. And he searched for like over an hour. Then panic sets in because the ship is about to dock. I know, and they cannot find Amy. They can't find her anywhere. So the family is frantic, which, you know what, when I read about her not having shoes, isn't that like when you see a woman not having shoes and she looks distressed in any kind of way, please do something. Please report it. Okay? I'll do a lot more things at the end of this video, but honestly, if you think something is awry or something is wrong, you're not being a bother. You're not even being a Karen, okay? You are being observant, and you may save someone's life. Because now, you guys, when you go to ports, they have signs that talk about human trafficking. Like, if you see something, say something. Which I wish I had that more back then, but that's a whole different story. So, okay, so the family is frantic. They're like, have you seen Amy? No, we haven't seen Amy. Well, she doesn't have her shoes, but she took her pack of cigarettes. Where is Amy? So we are about to go to Carousel. Sorry, it just doesn't sound like how it's supposed to sound. Sorry, Carousel. Let's just say that. So the family goes to the crew, and they're like, hi, my daughter is missing. You cannot put the bridge thing, like when you have, oh my God, what is that called? Gangplank? It's a weird word. Hopefully that's what it's called. It's a plank. We'll just say it's a plank. So when you go to a port, a plank is lowered down. So you go through security and you go to your port. Well, the family is saying, listen, our daughter is missing. Nobody can get off this ship. Please do not put the plank down. Well, they didn't take the family seriously. I know. You're going to be so frustrated, you guys, because I was so frustrated about, this case. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. So they said to the family, well, we're going to search the ship. We're going to search the ship. And so when we put the plank down, we're going to be searching. And apparently they searched for 12 hours. It was a big hoodoo, okay? So they did not listen to the family. They barely searched, and they let the plank down for people to go to the port. Now, there has been mixed reviews about the search, but straight up, I feel like they could have searched way better than they did. You know what I'm saying? There's 3,000 people on that ship. And no one saw something funny. A girl with no shoes. She looks frantic. Something's happened. Like, I don't know. It's just, I don't want to do the blame game, but like, okay, so they have searched, apparently. They opened the plank, and the poor family, they cannot find her daughter anywhere, even after the search. Well, the family had very limited time at the port of Carousel. Now, it said about 4 hours, but man, that's like really short a time. I mean, usually it's like 6 to 12, but okay, I read it was 4 hours. So the family like contacted the U.S. Embassy. They even contacted the FBI. But the FBI could not arrive until 24 hours later. Now, when the FBI contacted the family and did their investigation, the FBI found out it was not a thorough search of the ship. Yeah, I know. Heartbreaking. The family went on to another port, was St. Thomas. And by that time, guys, it's March 26th. Okay? That's like days later. And then the FBI does a bomb squad search. Now, I'm not blaming the FBI. I feel like the ship and the crew member, even though, you know, they kind of didn't believe the family, they probably were like, oh, she drank, she's drunk, she's hungover somewhere, you'll find her. But they didn't. They didn't not. And they should have taken that way more seriously. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if it was their family, it would have been a whole different story. Am I right? Treat people how you want to be treated. Okay? So March 26th, FBI conducts a bomb search, and flyers are handed out everywhere and across the ship. So again, this is days later. And 2 eyewitnesses come forward, 2 women, and said they saw Amy around 5:45 a.m. and she was headed to the ship's dance club with the Blue Orchids bass player. I know. Remember I talked about the Blue Orchids, the local band, the bass player? The bass player, everyone calls him Yellow, but I'm just going to say his name, Alistair Douglas, also known as Yellow. Well, yellow is a very happy color, so I'm not going to be calling you Yellow, Douglas, Alistair Douglas. He was the last person to be seen with Amy. Brad, her brother, actually saw him dancing with her that night before she disappeared. The morning she went missing, Alistair actually came up to Brad and said, sorry about your sister. What? The only people who knew that she was missing was the captain, the family, and the security team. How the hell did Alistair know? Unless he had something to do with it. Yeah. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I think he had something to do with it. So the FBI interviewed him. And of course, Alistair changed the story and said, I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know. I didn't see her. Said he knew nothing about her. Sir, that is a lie. That is a straight up lie. Okay? I mean, FBI should have really tailed him and had surveillance, but that's not what happened. No, that's not what happened, you guys. So this is where it gets pretty strange. This is where it gets strange. This is where the conspiracy theories happen, okay? So 10 hours before she disappeared. Now, if you've never been on a cruise, they take a lot of pictures. You may not want the pictures, but they take a lot of pictures. Some people are really into it. Me, I love pictures. They're so much fun. Doesn't matter what you look like. They're memories, okay? You know. But I have friends that are just like, don't take my picture, okay? So they take a lot of pictures on the cruise. And every night, they have a stand up on the upper deck, inside, you know, like it's kind of nice. And they have like a stand of all the photos. Amy's pictures were not there. Yeah, they all were missing. Amy's photos were missing 10 hours before she disappeared. I'm sorry, what? April 21st, the family returned to Carousel, to go and try to find their daughter. They showed flyers everywhere. They searched left and right, top to bottom, and they couldn't find Amy. A taxi driver actually came forward. He said the morning she disappeared, a woman that looked exactly like Amy frantically approached the man, asking where a phone is. He remembered her green eyes. Yeah, really, really awful, you guys. And then the brother thought he heard her voice a few days later in Carousel. And, you know, he thought he heard her in like a back of a car. So the family, they chased that car. And when by the time they got that car, Amy was not there. It was just a man driving. So did the brother really hear his sister's voice? Or was he just in like so much grief, you know, it kind of made it up? I mean, that's not fair, making it up. I mean, or just really wanted her to be there and just be like, okay, she's there, but she's not. It's very, very sad, you guys. Like I said, this is a very tight-knit family. Like, they loved each other so, so much. And they still love each other. And it was just awful. So 5 months later, May 1999, David Carmichael is from Canada. And he actually saw Amy. A woman came up to him on the beach because he was talking to his friend, started talking to him in English, of course, and she got really excited when she was walking with these two gentlemen. I wouldn't say they're gentlemen. They seem like horrible human garbage. These two dudes, okay? So walking with these two dudes, and she hears David speak English. So she turns around really quickly and like starts walking really fast towards him. And you know, David was like 2 feet away from her. And he tried to speak with her. And the one of the guys was dark-skinned, and the other guy, he said, swore looked like Alistair Douglas. I know. And one of the men, when he was trying to talk with her, like, just gave him the glare, like, you know, don't talk to her. Don't even, like, acknowledge her, or something like that. So he felt really weird about that. I mean, he tried to contact her, and they would not let him, you know, not let him talk to her. Months later, he saw in People magazine about vanishing and missing that he saw Amy on the front cover, and he knew. He goes, that was her. That was her. I saw her. She is alive. Now you're probably thinking, well, Katie, you know, a lot of people look alike. Like, I'm sure I have people that I look alike, and you have people that look like you. This is different, though. She had tattoos. Like, I have tattoos, you know, I have very distinguishing marks on my body. She did too. She had Tasmanian devil on her shoulder, I believe, on her back shoulder. She had a Chinese symbol on her ankle, a gecko lizard above her navel, and he saw all of that. So he knew, he said 100% he saw Amy, and Amy was still alive. So of course, the family is disheartened because they realize their daughter has been kidnapped and she's in a foreign country. Where you guys gotta realize, when you're in a foreign country, Americans, you have like no rights. That's why I always tell my friends who are traveling abroad, like, I'm not saying don't travel, because traveling is my favorite thing, but you have to be respectful. You know, you have to just watch, and you have to just be aware, you know, of your like surroundings and stuff. Now, I'm not saying that Amy wasn't, because the way I'm feeling and the way the dream went, there was no way that it could have been stopped. The way to describe it is like a lion to a gazelle. You know, like she was like hunted, I feel. Yeah, I mean, I pray she wasn't, but that's how I feel. I feel like she was hunted and there was like no chance. Like, either they chloroformed her, they did some kind of, they lured her. She got a trust relationship with this Alistair guy, maybe flirted with her a little bit and had a good time. And then she, you know, she trusted him. So she didn't think anything was wrong. But he lured her, and then that's where they got her like prey. I do think she was drugged in some kind of way to make her completely like, incapacitated? Is that the word? Capacitated? I don't know. Basically, just like you can't move, you know? Like, because there are drugs out there where they're like needles that they can just inject you and you can't even move. I know, it's like Dexter. I know. And I was very surprised that in the 90s they had stuff like that. You know, I mean, the spies had stuff like that. But there's sick stuff everywhere, guys. There's drugs everywhere. And I don't know. It is not her fault. It is not. And I pray that she does not blame herself. Because these are just horrible human garbages that need to be stopped. So the family realized that their daughter is kidnapped. And it's not good. It's not good. And she's being held against her will, which is very disheartening to hear. I can't imagine the family like having these feelings and everything, and then get everything just like, you know, these emotions and feelings validated. Like, oh my God, our daughter was taken. My sister was taken against her will. She's in a foreign country that she has no idea to get to us. Don't even know where phones are. Because 1998, like, phones, I mean, I can't imagine phones in like a different country. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, like, take from me, when you're in a different country, you don't have rights as an American as you do in the in the United States. Not trying to diss other countries. I'm not. I love traveling. I love the culture. But I'm telling you, it's very different. In fact, in my research, when the FBI actually came to do investigation on this ship, the crew could have said no, because they're on international waters and America does not have the jurisdiction to conduct a case. So I am grateful that the crew's members had some kind of heart, you know, like the captain, because I don't think the captain was involved. I really don't think that at all. But I do think that, you know, she was scoped out. I really do. Like, why was her pictures taken 10 hours before? You know? Okay, so 3 months later, this is going to get real sad too. We're going to go to Sad Town right now, okay? 3 months later, Frank Jones is a private investigator, a PI. He contacted the family. Now, he said that he was retired armed forces. He actually was in the Navy SEALs. So this guy was like, you know, rough and tough. Don't mess around. And he even told the family that he actually specialized in human trafficking and actually helped people unite with their families. Now, the family believed him. And this family really wanted their daughter back and would pay anything to get her back. And sadly, there are Frank Jones in the world. So, September 22nd, I know, weird, that's my birthday. I was like, whoa. September 22nd, he contacted the family and said he actually needed $100,000. Now, before the $100,000, he actually took thousands of dollars away from the family. Yeah. Dude, for what? He claimed that he had a team, a group, and, you know, the Colombians, there was a Colombian kind of, like, I don't want to say gang, but there was like a group of Colombian men. Yeah, those are his words. I have no idea. And they actually had her like in some kind of a brothel. And there were armed guards, and it was a big thing. He showed pictures of Amy and said, look, I saw her. There she was. And the family was so excited. They're like, oh my God, get our daughter. Get our daughter back. Okay? Just get her back. So when he's saying he needed the $100,000, the family were tapped. And actually, Ron went to his boss. I know. Ron went to his boss and told him the situation. And his boss was like, I will loan you the money, the $100,000, but I'm going to send a security contractor to find out who this Frank Jones is and to make sure he is legit. And you guys, I can't. So, the family is so excited to get Amy back. Excuse me, I'm sorry. If you don't know me, guys, I cry almost every podcast because I love the people I'm talking about. I love Amy. I feel like we would have been great friends. Hardcore Taurus. And I love Amy's. Amy's are like the best people. One day I will do a podcast and not cry. Excuse me. In November, the boss sent security contractor Tim Bush-Holtz. It's either Bush-Holtz or Bush-Holtz to scope out to see if, Frank was legit and his team. Sadly, they found out Frank was a fraud. He made the whole thing up. He did not see Amy. He faked the pictures of Amy. I just can't imagine, y'all. Like, you're trying to find your daughter, you're trying to find your sister, and you have a crook that conned his way. Oh, man. He was caught, you guys. He was. I'm sorry, I'm probably tearing up crying because I can't imagine, like, the false hope. How cruel of a piece of shit do you have to be to do that to a family for greed? He was caught, you guys. He was charged with taking over $200,000 taken away from the family, and Frank was charged with fraud and had 5 years in prison, and he was ordered to repay the money. Now, I'm not sure. I hope he is repaying the money, but something tells me he is not. In 2005, an escort site was found, a Caribbean escort site. And you're probably thinking what I'm thinking of. What's the IP address? Let's go get her now. There was no IP address. It wasn't even traceable in 2005. And the picture that I'm showing is disheartening. And I don't have any disrespect towards Amy to show this photo. But she is in scantily clad clothing, and she just looked like she has been through hell in a handbasket. Now, years later, in Barbados, a woman was in a restroom, and there were these two men that were like talking to a woman saying like, you better not mess this deal up. You better cooperate. And stuff like that. And they left the bathroom. And this young girl is like crouching over the sink, just looking so upset. And a girl, you know, from the bathroom goes up to this girl that is like cowering. And she basically says, I'm Amy. I'm from Virginia. And before she could say anything else, those men were back and like grabbed her out of the bathroom. And that lady just thought it was like unbelievable because she knew who Amy was. Now, the woman who found Amy in the bathroom, she actually did something about it. She actually reported to authorities and composited sketches of the men that were there with her. Now, there have been numerous sightings and reportings. And there are people that say that they're not true. There are people that say that she actually unalived herself. No. I do not in a million years agree with that. There's no way. She just got like this brand new puppy, okay, named Bailey. And she had her own apartment. She was 23, living her life to the fullest. I mean, she had no reason to be unhappy. She really didn't. Now, there was a skull of a jawbone from a skull that washed up in Aruba in like, you know, like I think it was early 2000s. So they thought that may have been her, but that makes like no sense because like, why didn't you look at the DNA and match that, you know? Because, you know, her stuff is still there. You can still have DNA. And another theory is that she was murdered on the ship, like unalived on the ship, and they tossed her overboard. But there was never a body found. March 24, 2010, they legally declared Amy dead. Like I said, she has been missing for 25 years, 7 months, and now 2 days. What do you guys think? I really want to know your thoughts. Amy, if you're here with me, I hope you have some kind of peace. I hope your family has some kind of peace. I don't know, I feel like she's no longer with us, you guys. I pray I'm wrong. I really do. But I feel like when you're in any kind of sex trafficking and you get older, you know, because women get older, and you're like pushing 50, you're no longer useful to them, so they get rid of you. I know, it's horrible. It's horrible. Yeah, I don't think she's with us anymore. But again, I pray I'm wrong. I pray that her family receives closure and her loved ones. All right, you guys, safety tips. So, of course, always have your phone on you, wear your Apple Watch. If you don't have an Apple Watch, have some kind of phone. Make sure you don't go anywhere alone. Yeah, when I'm sure I am so annoying to hang out with when we're on cruises because we're in a group chat, you know, because, you know, we go in like a group and I'm constantly like, hey, what are you guys doing? What's the plan? What's happening? Blah, 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 you know, and thank gosh my partner, you know, he never like left me alone. If I wanted to do something, he goes, yeah, let's do it. And I want to do this and we'll do that, you know. Make sure you don't go anywhere by yourself. Make sure you check your drinks. I do think that the bait was Alistair. And I know you've had other podcasters be like, well, why her? Why was she brought into sex trafficking? Why? And number one, I think that's so cruel that you're just like, oh, she's not pretty enough to be sex trafficked. I was like, what the hell is the matter with you? She was a little girl. I mean, she was. She was a very smart woman. She was extremely athletic, built. She could easily, 3 or 4 guys could take control of her. Come on. And it just seemed like, you know, Alistair was the bait. And he was part of the whole ruse. It's kind of like, I know I can't believe I'm bringing this up. It's a dumb movie, but weirdly I like it, except for the gory parts. Touristas. Remember that movie? Starring Olivia Wilde, Josh Duhamel. I'm forgetting another one. Melissa George. Anyway, it got a horrible rating on Rotten Tomatoes. But basically what it was, oh yeah, and Brazil hated this movie. They think it really messed with their tourism. Hey man, it might have. But the movie Touristas is about these young college friends. They're having a great time in Brazil. And believe me, guys, I've been there. It's beautiful, beautiful country. You have a great time. But they go to a party and they're all like kind of drugged. And when they're drugged, everything is taken from them. Their passports, their money, everything. And they thought this nice guy who spoke English was trying to help them. He actually lured them to his uncle's, which ended up being a, you know, an organ seller on the black market. I know. It's a horror movie, you guys. I know. But what I'm saying is that I feel like Alistair was the nice dude from the movie that acted really nice and lured and got them to where they would be like the most vulnerable. Like, come on. It was 5 o'clock in the morning, almost 6 a.m. She probably had a few drinks because when you're on a cruise and you buy that drink package, I don't even drink. I do not. But when I go on a cruise and I buy that drink package, I drank. Okay? I do. I love my coffee. I also drink my gin and tonics. Only on a cruise, though. I know. I'm a weirdo. It's fine. But you're drinking. You're having a good time. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're hungover. And you go out of the room. I don't know why. She was just lured out of the room. I don't. Or maybe they had plans to meet. Like, hey, you know what? I'll see you in a couple hours. You're so beautiful. I'll see you in a couple hours. Or something. Who knows? Because she literally was gone within 20 minutes. Like, what? It could happen that fast. That's my point. Okay? So, make sure you have someone with you. Always have your phone on you. Do not go anywhere by yourself. And when you're in a foreign country, respect the regulations. Stick with your loved ones. Do not go anywhere. If you tell your friends, like, oh, I don't want to bother them, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick, you go and make an announcement, yo, I got to pee. And then they're going to follow you close to the bathroom. I'm serious, you guys. This happened in 1998, and there was not that much technology, but there were still people. And these people on the ship saw something, and they did not say anything. You got to remember that. So you have to count on yourself. And I think this is why Amy wants me to tell this story, because you need to protect yourself. You need to watch where you're going. You need to not know. I mean, I'm very personable. I will talk to anybody, but my friends will not leave me alone with anybody. You know what I'm saying? Just please stay safe. Please know that you're loved and cherished. Let me know what you think below. Thank you so much for listening or watching. Please remember, you are doing better than you think. Bye, guys.